Look, I'm pretty sure you're aware that people constantly say dating market is fucked. The world we live in is fucked. Everything, it's cooked. Hookup culture's gone crazy. This. Including me, I've said this and, when I was younger, I was complaining like, oh, there's no good women out there. There's this. Everyone just wants to sleep around. No one wants to like commitment to marriage. And I listened to a lot of Charlie Kirk on this actually before he actually got assassinated. Rest in peace. But I sat down and I thought about it and I was like, well, of course the majority is leaning towards hookup culture. And why? Because it's instant gratification. I mean, for guys, it's more difficult than for girls. And when guys see this and they see girls that don't want to get into marriage, they stop trying, they stop pursuing, they stop doing everything. And then of course girls will complain saying that there's no good guys out there. Well, in reality, it's this chain that keeps continuing over. It's like the Spider-Man thing, pointing at each other, no him, no him, and it keeps going in a circle, so nothing is going to change. Look, I complained about this as well. I was like, oh my gosh, the fucking it's so bad, like. And then I was like, why would I complain? Usually when you complain, there's a scarcity mindset in you. Usually it's because you complain because you can't get something. Because realistically, if you're getting all the women, you're not going to be complaining, because there will be a woman for you out there. All right. Look, that it doesn't mean that hookup culture is so big that marriage and all this shit is fucked. That's completely not true. There will be a good girl for you out there. There will be a girl who doesn't go on social media, who doesn't scroll, who doesn't do that bullshit. So, when you complain and shit, it will get you absolutely nowhere. And I've learned that the best thing you can do is make a change, is work on yourself, pursue yourself, just take action on the things you want to do. It's so easy to fall into this like shit mindset of just complaining that this is rubbish, that is rubbish, all this bullshit. When actually in reality, it's maybe you that needs to take action on something. Maybe you are complaining because you can't get girls. Look, us guys, we want girls, all right? It's a normal human thing for men wanting women, all right? Don't sit there and tell yourself it's not. Maybe because, I don't know, your parents or your friends said, oh no, you can't have women, you have to wait until marriage. Look, I completely respect that. We're not really talking about that part. We're talking more about the not complaining about dating market and like actually taking action on your life. Because if you seriously want to wait for marriage, I respect that 100%, you wait for marriage. But if you're saying that as more of a code because you can't actually get women, there's a complete different problem to that. Look, I mean, like, it's always going to go back to what you want. You might have to just sit down in your room without technology for maybe 8 hours and just journal genuinely what you want. Do you want a relationship? Because, like, yeah, relationships are fun and all that, but they can take up so much of your time. They can literally just, like, fuck, you'll stop chasing yourself and you've got this, like, whole other duty you have to take care of. It's like a responsibility in a way. Maybe you're not ready for that. And then what? Marriage? You're probably young as. Why would you get married now? You need to chase yourself. You want to achieve your goals, the goals you've set out. And maybe then you want to get married. Maybe you don't even want to get married. I understand if you don't want to get married. The divorce rate's like 54%. Why the fuck would you want to get married if there's a high chance of you divorcing that chick than actually staying happy and successful together? Yeah, maybe you'll do it for the kids. That's another reason. So You always have to look at what you want. Maybe you want some casual shit. Look, there's nothing wrong with like having casual like sex. Look, you might say this is wrong, but all these successful people, all these successful people in the world, they did the same thing. So when they tell people, "Oh, nah, just focus on yourself. Don't care about women," they're saying that because they already had the women and now they're focusing on themselves. They already have that experience, what they gained through that time and their period of life. So genuinely, brother, there's like casual shit, you know? You'll get experience. I mean, that's what us guys are lucky. Like, we get experience with no consequences. Of course, you will have to put boundaries. Like, you don't want to be chasing women, all right? If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At the end of the day, you keep your respect, okay? Keep your respect because, like, look, let's say you're in a nightclub. For example, all right, I was in a nightclub and I was making out with this chick. I could have gone home with her. There was just a little hesitation. Honestly, I wasn't feeling it, and I was like, "Fuck that." I respect I will value my respect more than trying to like get on my hands and knees to get this bitch home so I can fuck her. It's just sex, bro. Like, it's genuinely just sex. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck this." Went back into the club, started dancing with my mates again. So you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to respect your self respect. Because look, okay, you didn't get the girl. Who cares? You have your respect still. You didn't lose it. You didn't give it to some woman for free. Or like, yeah, you maybe want more of a like a situationship. More like towards the red pill. If you want to do something, what I'm doing is basically like you're just gonna spin plates. Basically, you have more like non-monogamous relationships. So if you know, like two casual girls who you've got, maybe three that you like see sometimes, and it's just like you're not exclusive to them, so you can go with other girls as well. And you get basically the fun part of the relationship, the sweet part, the funny part, all the sex, blah blah, without any of the fighting, anything. And of course, like it's not going to be like serious for long. Like you'll lose them eventually, but that's when you gain more girls and blah blah blah. And the reason I found out this is what I want was because I journaled about it. I sat down and I was like, what do you actually want? Don't think about anyone else, all right? Sit down and say, what do you actually want? Don't think about what your parents are going to say, what your friends are going to say. Just think what you want. You don't have to tell people, but you'll at least know what you want in a relationship in a woman. If it's casual marriage, relationship, situationship, whatever it is, you'll know what you want. Because if someone's going to hate you for what you want, then shows a lot about their character already. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do because that's up to you. You shouldn't listen to people and that tell you this bullshit, honestly, because they're coming from somewhere else. They're living a complete different life than you. They might even not be the same sex as you, all right? And now here you're taking advice. Look, no offense, but if you're taking advice from this shit from like your mom, maybe your parents, like we respect our parents, we love our parents, obviously, but you have to understand they were living and growing up in a different era than us. Everything's changed. Now there's social media. Now there's this. It's completely different. So like, of course, love your parents, respect your parents. I'm not saying don't. But just don't listen to people who are going to tell you about this shit. Of course, you might have that genuine one friend who's experienced and he's going to tell you, oh, you know what? I wouldn't do that if I were you, but it's your decision. I'm just telling you as your friend to help you. But at the end of the day, it's your life. You do whatever the fuck you want. So it goes back just to what you really want to do, just do that. Because when you start living like that, your life will improve so much more. Like, you might go actually to a nightclub, make out with this girl, and maybe you don't even want to take her home. So you just go, bye, go dance with someone else and have a fun time. Like, you don't have to be like everyone else who's like got this like needy, yuck aura around them. So basically, coming from the initial, like, don't fucking complain about like dating and the market and just like take action, is how are you going to take action on this? Because you want to become like the top 1%, basically. The top 10% of men will get all the women. It's always been like that. It always will be like that. Because the woman it's her hypergamy. She's always going to be chasing the alpha. She's always going to be chasing the alpha, the one that she's just going to want to fuck. She's naturally going to be more attracted to him. So instead of you sitting here and complaining, you can work on yourself to become that 1% or 10%. So then you get all the women. Instead of complaining, oh, the dating market's fucked, because realistically, brother, you can't change it. We can't change it. All right. All the men in the world would have to come together to change something. But it's probably not going to happen. So why care about that when you can just change yourself? Literally, work on yourself. That means gym, chase yourself, your purpose, your business, eat clean, have fun, socialize, have like good friends you actually like hanging out with. When you start working on these things, when you stop chasing women and then you go out, you see a pretty girl, you talk to her, you go to a nightclub, you have fun, you do this, you do that, it's going to be so much easier. Because when you get yourself to a point in life, I'm not saying that word of focus on yourself, king, because it's bullshit. Focus on yourself, but still have women in the picture. So don't chase the women, because when you chase yourself, the women will chase you. I'll catch you in the next one, brother. Peace out, my G.